Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
The homestand concludes tonight. Miller Park, Milwaukee on a beautiful night for baseball. It's the Minnesota Twins and the Milwaukee Brewers, the second and final game of this series. And the Brewers wrap up this 8-game homestand. They have a chance at their 6th win. Gene Segura, he's been red hot since he's been in that leadoff spot. 10 RBIs since May 1st, and a lot of that coming as a leadoff hitter. He's back in there once again tonight. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. We'll hear from Sophia Minnaert in a little bit as well. Now, the Brewers are starting to get off early in games, and that's been a key for them offensively since this lineup change, Rock. First innings have been very much a success for Milwaukee recently.
Yeah, the manager doesn't get a whole lot of credit when things are going well, but Ron Renicke's shifting the lineup, Segura and Braun to the top. Since that combination has been going, they've been hitting .360. Now look at what Gene Segura has done in the first inning in that stretch, a .545 batting average, and he scored 6 runs in the first inning. These guys have been getting off to good starts, and nothing more demoralizing for an opponent, particularly when you're playing at home, to get out to a big lead. The first game of that Cubs series, the Brewers erupted for 5 runs and just continued to add on to the assault. So the lineup change has been a big success for Ron Renicke.
And Segura, this will be his 12th consecutive game as the leadoff hitter in first innings. Segura is 6 for 11. That is the best mark in the National League. And in the big leagues, as a matter of fact, has 6 runs scored, as he is 6 for 11 in those first innings since May 22nd. We're talking pitching when we come back. Starting pitching, as a matter of fact. They've been very good lately. Craig and Augie have the story right after this.
game 2 of their interleague series, 4 in all. Brewers trying to win their second in a row against the Twins. Samuel Deduno will be on the hill for Minnesota tonight, and Giovanni Gallardo for the Brewers. Retro uniforms for both teams here this evening. Well, the homestand off to a terrific start. Brewers trying to close it out with their 6th win here on their 8th game of the homestand. The starters have done a tremendous job. Everybody right now except Peralta has recorded a win. The last 2 have pitched shutouts during their 2 times out.
Yeah, you have to really like what the starting staff has done. You know, you talk about playing complete baseball. It all begins with your starting pitching. And I'll tell you what, they've been doing very good. 58 games played, 40 quality starts, second in all of Major League Baseball. But it all starts with commanding the strike zone, getting ahead of hitters, limiting the free passes by walks, and I'll tell you what, pitching to contact. That's one thing this ball club has been doing, one thing the starting pitching staff has been doing, and it's a big part of their success.
How about Yohan? 0 days rest, picking up a couple of wins, one with the bat, and then he dominated the Orioles on the mound, picking up that win last week.
I'll tell you, nothing better than come up with a game-winning base hit and be able to pitch the next day. Yo was in command, commanding the strike zone. He's been very good all year. He wants to do the same tonight.
All right, the border battle round 2 of 4 days in a row continue. They'll pack their bags after tonight and go to Minnesota. Brewers trying to take a win on the road.
Sports Wisconsin is presented by Marshfield Clinic. Just a gorgeous night for baseball. Not a cloud up there. Clear skies. Going to be a beautiful evening here. 74 degrees our game time temperature as we get ready for the final game of this series and the final game of this homestand. The Brewers are going to continue with the Minnesota Twins tomorrow at Target Field. Ron Gardenhire, year 13 as the skipper of the Minnesota Twins. They come in here at 26-29. They're 6 games back in their division, sitting in last place. Here's his lineup today. It's brought to you by Associated Bank. He's got Danny Santana, the speedy center fielder, leading off. Brian Dozier hits number 2, and then Joe Mauer is in the 3-hole. Middle of the order is Josh Willingham, Oswaldo Arcia, and Trevor Plouffe in the middle of Gardenhire's batting order, with Josmiel Pinto, Eduardo Escobar, and Samuel Deduno rounding it out. And that's the batting order that will face Giovanni Gallardo.
Yeah, and Yo picked up his first win, his last time out. First win since April 6th at Boston. Remember, he sprained his ankle in a game earlier in Atlanta. Had 8 days between starts. Picked up a win against the Baltimore Orioles. Gave up 3 runs in 6 2/3 innings. And Yovani Gallardo getting a start, making his 7th career start against the Twins. Let's check out the Brewers as they line up defensively. Martin Maldonado behind home plate. Jonathan Lucroy getting a rare day off. It's been 20 consecutive games for Lucroy. Davis, Gomez, and Braun. Reynolds, Segura, Jeanette, and Overbay from third to first. There's your Brewers defense. They've been playing well.
Umpires in place. Mark Wagner will call the balls and strikes. He is the crew chief as well. Andy Fletcher, Chris Segal, and Mike McClinsky on the bases. And we are ready to play ball at Miller Park. Lead man is Danny Santana, switch hitting center fielder. And the first pitch from Gallardo is up and away we go from Milwaukee, and not going to be around here much in the month of June. Take it in while you can. Brewers are about to embark on a very long road trip that will have 3 home games separating 2 long trips. So 16 out of 19 days, 15 of the next 18 games away from Miller Park in Milwaukee. Twins decked out in their powder blues here tonight. Brewers in their retro 1980s uniforms. They're going to do the same tomorrow again as well. Got a promotion at Target Field, I understand. That's a good old school look.
Brewers had the powder blues back in the day. That's when you had that Brewer Twins. Those series were heated rivalries. 2 pretty good teams. Twins had the likes of Herbeck and Gaetti, Frankie Viola, guys like that on the mound, and there's some good games. Locked horns quite a bit.
Now back when the Brewers were in the American League, moved to the National League in '98, and then this became an interleague series. And that border battle, the regional rivalries. Baseball originally had interleague weeks where you had exclusively interleague games before divisions changed. Now they're spread out throughout the season. As Santana goes to left, easy enough for Chris Davis, and that's how the night begins for Yovani Gallardo.
Yeah, 105 pitches for Yovani in 6 2/3 innings. He pitched pretty well, although command was an issue for him. He walked 5, struck out 5, gave up a couple of homers in an 8-3 victory over the Baltimore Orioles back on May 28th.
Here's Brian Dozier batting second tonight. He led off last night. Gardenhire trying to juggle his lineup a little bit. He's got Mauer back in the 3 spot in the order today. Dozier's been one of their best players. He's been their best power hitter, has 11 home runs. Yesterday the Brewers winning 6-2. Twins scored a single run in each of the last 2 innings. Twins actually out hit the Brewers 12-9, but only scored 2 runs out of those 12 hits. Minnesota left 9 on yesterday, and it was a Matt Garza victory. Garza improving to 3-4. He went 6 1/3. No runs yesterday for Garza. His bullpen picked him up. Will Smith was terrific once again.
It is a very patient offense. This Minnesota Twins, these hitters very rarely, if ever, swing out of the strike zone. That's why Garza got bit by the pitch count in yesterday's game. Yovani's got to be cautious of that. Ron Gardenhire has seen his team struggle with runners in scoring position, including last night, only 2 for 10.
Well, the victory for the Brewers improved their record to 35-23 as Dozier rips one back up the middle, a base hit. So a 1-out single and a man aboard for Joe Mauer. Dozier is playing at an all-star caliber this year. All-star game at Target Field in Minneapolis. He could be the representative there. Of course, Joe Mauer is the big name in this lineup, in a lineup that does not have many recognizable names these days as they transition their organization. And Mauer not the same hitter that he once was. Although Mauer had 3 hits last night, he had a strikeout in the biggest of moments when Garza was on the ropes. Punched out Mauer protecting a 2-0 lead at the time. Snap throw to first and out. Dozier is out at first. Maldonado goes behind the runner.
And Ron Gardenhire for sure is going to come out and see if that one's going to be a possible review. Well, a snap throw by Martin Maldonado on a short hop. And Dozier getting that secondary lead, getting off the bag, and let's check it out. Ball beats him. Well, is he out? Well, he certainly does look like it. Pretty close. I'm not sure if they have an angle other than that one to determine whether the tag was made. Gardenhire waiting to have his video crew. You get 20 seconds.
Well, and equipped in both clubhouses. 12 different camera angles to look at if you need it. And obviously, whatever the Twins saw, not enough they feel to overturn that call. So Gardenhire will protect his challenge and head back to the dugout. And the Brewers get out number 2 on a pickoff by Maldonado.
Yeah, you better be careful when you're taking secondary leads on Maldonado. He will pick you off. He likes to throw to the bases.
Putout goes 2-3. So Mauer is up there with nobody on. 2 outs in the inning. And a base running blunder by Brian Dozier. Mauer has good numbers against Gallardo throughout his career. 5 for 10 lifetime. Comes in batting .275 after his 3-hit game yesterday. Production is down though, just 2 home runs, 13, make it 15 runs batted in for Joe Mauer. And Gallardo walks him. So a 2-out walk. Base runner at first for Josh Willingham.
Now I said it was 20 seconds. Obviously it's 30 seconds that a manager gets between the time he gets there and the decision has to be made whether he wants to challenge a call or not. Apparently Gardenhire didn't see enough to overturn.
Not every ball club has a team of personnel in the clubhouses checking video. The Brewers have John Shelby manning that station, and then there's always a couple of others that are in there checking the video, home and road, so they can cue it up quickly. But it is John Shelby who, for the Brewers, communicates with Jerry Narron when there's a challenge. And we're starting to settle into replay review now. I think the system is working well. They've already made one significant change as far as outfield play goes, or at least ball and glove, and how you transfer from glove to throwing hand. That took about a month to correct, and it is a work in progress. But I think the system, for the most part, is working, and they're getting the blatant missed calls correct. Able to overturn those. Seeing a lot fewer arguments,
unfortunately,
which you're a fan of. You want to see some shouting going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was all part of the game, right? What would Earl Weaver have done if they had review back then?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Earl Weaver, Billy Martin, Leo DeRocher, those guys. Lou Piniella, how about Lou? He could dust it up.
It's a much kinder, gentler communication between umpires and major league managers. I love the scene. We just had one over at first base where the manager just stands there, has a little chat, waiting on his video crew. I think maybe moving forward, I don't know where baseball's going with it. I think the manager could probably be allowed to stand near his dugout. Maybe take a step out, call time. There's a called strike 3. Gallardo drops a hammer on him. Willingham standing and watching, and down he goes. The inning is over. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, now in the original can, it's Miller time. By Toyota, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Statue of Bud Selig outside Miller Park, the commissioner. And there's Gene Segura ready to lead off. Segura, Jeanette Braun, then Gomez, Davis, and Reynolds, followed by Overbay, Maldonado, and Gallardo, the Associated Bank. Ron Renicky batting order. Samuel Deduno is on the mound for the Twins tonight. His first offering is in there for a strike. Twins failed to score in the first. And now the Brewers coming up against Deduno, who makes his 6th start of the year. He's in there for Mike Pelfrey, who's out with an injury.
Yeah, first 7 appearances came out of the bullpen, making his 2nd career start against the Brewers. He got a win last year at Target Field and pitched well, 1 earned run in 7 innings.
Segura back up the middle, and that's going to squeeze through a base hit. Gene Segura. He showed you his numbers in the first innings of games since he was placed in that leadoff spot. This is the 12th game where he's hit leadoff, and he has 7 hits in those 12 games.
Yeah, hitting about .550 in the first inning. So what a way to start your offensive day. Well, the Segura Braun experiment has been a raging success. And Segura on Phantom Cam able to get on top of that pitch and bounce it into center field.
Got jammed, but able to muscle it through for a base hit. If you're just picking us up, you missed our open tonight. We're talking about the Brewers and their ability to score runs in the first inning during this stretch. They're averaging 1.7 runs per first inning after this lineup change going back to May 22nd. That is a significant number to start a game.
No kidding. That means you're not playing from behind too much. When you have really good pitching, the defense has been very good, and you're getting on top early, that's a good recipe for success.
Scooter Gennett bats second tonight, and he rolls one through a base hit. And Segura is on his way to third. The throw coming in. It's cut off. And right away, the Brewers put him at the corners with nobody out.
Now, Deduno, not a guy that's going to throw awfully hard, but he does have good movement on his fastball. Not quite yet. First 2 hitters. Both of them finding the holes. This one in the right field, and with Arcia playing deep out in right field, Gene Segura able to get into third base easily.
So even with Gennett hitting second, the offense starting to churn a little in the first inning. Lucroy gets the day off today, so Braun moves back into his customary 3 spot in the order. And Braun bats with runners at the corners and nobody out here in the first inning. He's been on a good run lately. Braun hitting .318 overall, has 9 home runs and 28 driven in. He's hit 2 first inning home runs on this homestand. Overall, he's hitting .370 on the homestand. 10 hits and 27 at bats. This is game number 8, and he has 8 runs batted in the previous 7.
And most of his base hits have come to the right field side of second base. I mean, he's hitting the ball all over the ballpark, hitting it where it's pitched. They're trying to pitch inside, but they haven't been real successful in there. Like that. Missing inside. They haven't been able to find that inside corner.
The numbers for Braun on the homestand. Still not enough plate appearances to qualify among the league leaders in the National League. He'll get there eventually as long as he stays in the lineup. And Braun to the right side, got a chance to turn a double play here. It goes 4-6, but not in time. Braun beats it out. That buys him an RBI, and it puts the Brewers on the board 1-0.
Well, a hustle RBI. You can see what Braun was doing with his hands right there, talking about the movement on the pitches from Deduno. He's tough. He doesn't throw hard. Johnny Nairn says he throws predominantly cutters. He'll four-seam one once in a while, but cutters and curveballs predominantly from the Minnesota starter tonight, and he will throw an occasional changeup. He's got a good curveball, but we haven't seen one yet.
One man out. Braun over at first now. Here is Gomez. And he waves and misses at the first offering. Brewers feel like they can run a little bit on the combination of Deduno and tonight's catcher, Josmiel Pinto. And we'll see how active the Brewers will be on the base paths tonight. Pinto is the personal catcher of Deduno since he's been in the rotation. Gomez into center field. Sounded good, but won't quite have the distance as Santana makes the catch. Braun will hold his ground at first base.
Now let's check out the Minnesota Twins as they line up defensively, brought to you by Menards. Yeah, not too many changes from last night. Just behind home plate, you got Pinto back there. 2 errors last night, his first career 2-error game. Talking about Trevor Plouffe. 2 errors in the same inning and cost his team a run. Ordinarily, the Twins pretty good defensively.
Now, a team described as a defensive group who makes plays that on balls they get to. Not a whole lot of range, as you mentioned last night. And they've got a couple of guys out of position right now. Specifically, the guy to keep an eye on is their center fielder, Danny Santana, who is a shortstop by trade and is being pressed into duty in center field here recently. Had a costly misthrow yesterday. Didn't go down as an error, but it set up another run for the Brewers.
Man, that's a guy that they are touting as their shortstop of the future, and you got to wonder how much that's going to affect his development as a major leaguer in general. Playing out of position, how much that's going to affect his confidence. That's something Ron Gardenhire has bought into, to have him out there to keep his bat in the lineup.
Chris Davis, a little cue shot foul. Speaking of big homestands, Chris Davis